No, not happening. No! You gotta be kidding me, man! Christmas!
Suck it, Giants.
Oh.
The Vikings can kick. We've got
Let's
Greg
go.
Joseph. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to start calling him Greg the Leg if that's not already taken. I'm just kidding.
At this point, it doesn't matter if it is. He's earned it. 61-yarder. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Greg Joseph is the man. Wow. What'd you guys think of that game?
I mean, another one-score nail-biter. I mean, at this point, it's just a given. I don't think we're legally allowed to win games more than by one score. So,
Right.
You know what? Keeps things interesting. You know, little Christmas miracle. What do you say?
Yeah, I think. Oh my God. Yeah, it's we keep winning by one score. But that's Greg Joseph's. I think his 5th game-winning touchdown on the year. So
Insane.
yeah.
Five of the 12 games. Are you kidding me?
Five of the 12 games. It's come down to a Greg Joseph kick. So yeah.
I'm gonna
Thank you, Greg. I like that T-shirt, Alex. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, available at hotdishsports.com. Let's go. No,
Go
but
get it.
I'm going to go ahead and just assume, I haven't looked this up, but the Vikings have never had a kicker have 5 game-winning field goals in a season, right? There's no way.
I don't know. I mean, we could easily look that up.
We could probably look that up, but either way, it feels like it's never happened, at least in my lifetime. Nothing that I can think of.
Yeah.
It is a
Have
miracle.
they had any kicker make 5 field goals in a season?
I mean, I can think off the top of my head of
Just
five
total.
pretty painful losses because of kickers, but
Yes.
not winning.
Wide left. That's the next shirt we need, but hopefully that never happens again. Can we give some credit to the whiteout, maybe? That was.
I mean, what?
epic.
Oh, you thought it was epic. I was kind of
You didn't like the
underwhelmed,
whiteout?
but- Why do you the whiteout? Like they just looked like normal jerseys. Like so they painted the end zones white. Like whatever.
I
The
mean,
helmets were the
thought it
same as
looked-
always. Like
I thought it looked so cool with everyone in the stadium wearing white. I thought that really added like a cool, unique element to it. You know, it's Christmas, it's snowing in Minnesota. It just
Yes.
kind of felt right. And their white uniforms are my favorite. So the more they wear them, I like that.
yeah.
Right. And to anybody that's watching, our fans from out of state, it was dumping snow here. It was absolute. How much snow did we get? I'm trying to think. We've got
Oh God.
Not in the
I
field
shoveled
though.
like
So
12 times
Obviously,
in 2
it's a
days.
dome, so-
No, not in the field, but outside. So the white.
but you were saying for people that didn't know, I just wanted to make that clear.
Well, those people watch the game. They know it doesn't snow inside U.S. Bank Stadium, but outside the stadium, I was having to shovel nonstop. It was a disaster. So we were getting a whiteout. So the timing was perfect of it. It was like negative 40-degree wind chill. It was insane. But I mean, the coolest thing, sure, there's the jerseys, the field. The fans showed up. They were all in white. There, you look at the pictures. I'm surprised that many people actually followed the rules. And I would be embarrassed to show up in a purple jersey, but because so many people showed up in white. But hey, they advanced to 12-3 on the season now, and they are in contention for that number 1 seed, which is awesome to see. We're just glad they're in the number 2 seed at this moment, I think. But do you think the Vikings actually can clinch that number 1 seed yet?
Well, I think so. They need the Eagles to lose basically
Both
twice now.
games.
So I think that the Eagles are playing the Giants and
The Saints.
The
I think they
Saints.
play
the Saints and the Giants. Yeah, yeah.
And the Saints, I think that's in New Orleans.
It
so
is
anything can happen.
Saints and Giants. Yeah. So we'll see what happens this weekend. But I think that as long as they're still fighting for that number 1 seed, I think that's kind of a good thing for us as like viewers and stuff too. Because I don't think they'll be as quick to like sit their star players. They don't want to get injured. So
And
There's still-
I just want
there's
to
still
correct
stuff on
myself. They are actually in Philly, so that makes it harder for them to lose. But you're right.
But
Josh.
they are missing a very important man by the name of Jalen Hurts.
True.
This morning he got downgraded from questionable to now doubtful.
Oh.
And if you're a fantasy football person at all, or just football, if it's doubtful, they ain't playing. So they're gonna have to get behind Gardner Minshew. Wasn't able to get it done against the Cowboys this week. So I think that only
Minshew
helps.
mania, baby.
Minshew mania.
Although-
You gotta love the mustache. Cole's gonna get one soon.
Yeah, it's coming.
But I mean, it's a perfect scenario. like Hurts out. Eagles have some tough matchups. That Saints defense is really stingy. And that Giants team, I mean, obviously we just saw it. They gave the Vikes a run for the money. So, yeah, Vikes totally have a shot to go clinch this.
Well, the Eagles game's at noon, so hopefully by the time the Vikings game rolls around, we know whether or not they can still clinch and whether or not the Vikings will be sitting some guys or not. But hopefully one guy we will not be seeing sat is JJ. Oh my gosh, he was on fire again. He always is. And this last week, he broke the single season receiving yards record, broke it from Randy Moss. We knew he was going to do it. Didn't take long. First quarter, it happened pretty quick. But do you think that we see him again against the Packers break the record next week?
I think it's a total possibility. He has a really tough matchup going against Jair Alexander, and had a pretty good week one against him. But last week against the Giants, we saw Jefferson get 100% snap share, and I mean, 12 catches for 133 yards is the typical Jefferson. So they haven't made a move to slow down on his usage and snaps, and I mean, they're still going full blow right now. So I think, yeah, it's totally a possibility. It's going to be tough, but if anyone can do it, Jefferson can.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one he's the only one close right now. So he's, next week we'll probably see him. I don't think they're going to sit him because, they've been using him so much. And like Alex said, a 12 reception, 133-yard game is just like an average game for JJ. So, yeah. I think hopefully by the end of the year we see him break like the single season league record for reception.
2K for JJ. That's what we need to. That's what we need.
That would
to
be
start.
crazy.
That's the next.
We were talking about that. I was saying I couldn't believe that there's been running backs who've had 2,000-yard seasons, but not wide receivers. But JJ is gonna be the one.
Yeah. Well, if
mark my words. No, I don't know.
Right, but if he does break 2K, would you guys say that he's got a case for MVP? How could he not?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think right now I think he's MVP right now. So if he breaks that record, then we're.
Yeah, I mean, Jefferson's having an absolutely historical season right now. He has 10 100-yard receiving games on the season already, leads the NFL in catches and yards, also only has 5 drops on 123 catches, and he's tied for 5th. Yep, 5 drops.
5 drops? My God. He's had 5 that I'm like, I don't know how he didn't drop that at least every game. So I'm not surprised. But
he gets targeted so much.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he is him. That's as simple as it is. And I think we haven't really seen a breakout or a insane quarterback season this year. So the door is definitely open.
It is so nice to have a superstar in Minnesota. All of these.
It's crazy.
We've got every sport right now. I mean, the Twins, don't really have one, but we've got all the other. We got Kaprizov and Edwards and him. I mean, just unbelievable. It's
when you have a player on your your home team that goes first in fantasy drafts, they're special.
Yes, and it's been a while. It's been since AP, I feel like, with the Vikings that we've had something like that. But you know who else I think is absolutely rocketing themselves up the leaderboards? T.J. Hawkinson. Is this not the best trade that the Vikings have ever made?
It's up there.
It definitely is.
I was looking at his stats with the Lions and
JJ for digs, but anyway, sorry, you're looking at the stats.
Oh no, just his stats. Is right now the season's cut in half. He played 8 games with the Lions, and then they traded him. Now he's 8 games with the Vikings, and he's touchdown wise, yard wise, all that stuff is pretty kind of close. But just the number of receptions is more than doubled since he's been with the Vikings. He's got 52 or 53 receptions right now or whatever. And he also actually, speaking of records too, he actually set the single game record with the Vikings for a tight end with receptions. He had 13 in the last game. So yeah, that was a single game record for the Vikings for a tight end. So just breaking records everywhere. I think because JJ is breaking records and gonna maybe break another big one. Now they're just wait, what other records can we, So Yeah. So I saw that one. That's kind of cool. Yeah. They use him so much. He's amazing. 2 touchdowns. Like he's last game.
Kirk can't stop throwing to him. It's like they grew up together.
It's crazy that he just like he came alive like on the Vikings. Like he's so good on the Vikings. Like he's he's surrounded by other like really good players, but like, it's just he's playing up to their level, up to Vikings level. But yeah,
100%. And I mean, back in Detroit, he was the guy there. It was him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and no one really else was very notable around him. And I mean, the usage has been totally different. Detroit was kind of felt like they're trying to make him more of a blocking tight end when he's a great receiver. I mean, you go look at that second touchdown he had, just mossing 2 cornerbacks like that. That's amazing. Like, it's so fun to see that. And the connection between him and Kirk is just so evident. It's so obvious. Like Kirk trusts him, and the trade's been nothing short but of awesome for us.
Yeah. Well, we know next year fantasy drafts, Jefferson's going number 1 for wide receivers. I assume in most drafts, but
he'll probably go number 1 overall. Like if it's a PPR league, so. Like
it's got to be.
Even if it's not, they're probably number 1 overall.
Do you see TJ? We got Kelsey and TJ Hawkinson. Would you say
he's my number 2 right now?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, Mark Andrews is kind of having a dud season, but he would be the only other one up there with them.
They're both just so much older than TJ Hawkinson. So I hope we can lock down Hawkinson, and I hope we can continue to keep him on our team, because it is nice having a tight end like him.
I think that's like it's just one of those things where like you can drop a player in and with another group of players and everything kind of just like works. I think that was what happened with him. Like they dropped him into that offense, and there was just chemistry with him and Cousins, and
yeah. Sometimes all it takes is he does. He looks just like our logo. But what I was going to say, all it takes is a change of scenery sometimes, and superstars are born.
That's what we got to do. And all right, we talked about JJ's MVP potential, but everybody's just still calling Kirk a fraud. I mean, it's unbelievable on ESPN. Anywhere you look, you're like, they're just still bad talking Kirk. But I feel like after this game was the first time that I started to see some love for Kirk Cousins on TV. Do you think he has what it takes to be what everyone thinks he's not and maybe take us deep into the playoffs? Did you see something special in this game? We've obviously seen a lot of fourth quarters.
So I think first of all, I think he's got a lot to like. He's got some to prove still, right? Because he doesn't have this like past where he's just been like going deep into the postseason and leading teams to anyway. So, but with that said, no, I think he is playing a lot better. I think he's like not letting any of the like noise get to him either way. He always like you see him in post game interviews, and he's just like the guy's just like I don't know. He just doesn't let that stuff get to him. He just sounds great. But I did, the first, I don't know if you saw like the first, I know you guys saw it. I don't know why I said that. The first TJ Hawkinson touchdown of the game, like he had someone right in his face, like, and he stood there and he threw a perfect pass and just got rocked. And then I think it was actually roughing the passer on that too. But or there was a penalty. I forget if it was roughing.
That happens so much to him. It seems like.
But yeah, but like I said, like he just like I think he's really showing that he can lead this team and
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of what you said about him just kind of staying in that pocket and taking the hit. He's done that all season long. He is the 3rd most sacked quarterback, and I don't know what the pressure stat is. I'm sure he's up there for that as well, but he doesn't care. He is so willing to take hits for this team to get the ball out of his hands and hit his receivers that like I think that's been one of the biggest changes this year that we've seen out of Kirk. And kind of like what you're saying earlier, I don't think it's just a one game, something I saw this game. It's something I've seen all season. Doesn't matter what situation we are in the game. With Kirk, like I haven't been worried this year. He's just done such a good job of persevering through the adversity and, putting together all these comeback wins. And, that's what I look for when I think of playoff success is, when you're down and out, what are you going to do? And I think we've seen a lot of positive from Kirk this year. I got confidence.
That's what you took the word. I was going to say, it's confidence. He's playing with confidence because he has JJ. He's got Hawkinson now. He's got Thielen, and he's
he's got the staff around him. He's got the players around him he's needed, and it's clicking clearly. And I feel like there's a lot of people, when he gets to playoffs, I can see it already. They're going to start looking at the numbers. They're going to say, oh, man, he gets sacked all the time. Oh, my goodness, look at the interceptions is higher this year than what he's had in the past. But you know what? A lot of those interceptions have not been his fault. Obviously, him getting sacked is him being confident. That's him holding the ball. So don't look at the stats. Don't look at the numbers. You watch the game, you know Kirk is amazing this year, and he's on a different level than I think anyone's ever seen him before. He's not playing scared. He is playing to win, and it's clear. Let's move on to Dalvin Cook. I can't get enough. You know what? I'll be honest. 3 weeks ago, I was a little down on Dalvin. Even in the podcast, I was like, man, you know, he's going to be expensive soon. Like, I don't know how I'm feeling about him. Madison's amazing, but he just keeps showing up. He does his job. That's what we got to ask out of him, right?
No, he's an awesome running back. He's one of the best running backs in the league. Like, he had a couple like bad games this year, but no, he does what he does, and he's really good at it. So
yeah,
Alex, do you think we should start feeding Madison more, or do you think was I wrong?
I don't think it. Oh, sorry, you were asking Alex.
I don't think it's you know, I don't think we have to go straight to a 50-50 split, but you know, I'd like to see my star running back not get injured. And, you know, especially with these last 2 weeks, like, just take a little load off, get some new tread on the tires and get them ready for playoffs. This past week against the Giants, 14 carries for 64 yards. Like, you just watched him. He looked more explosive. He looked confident. You know, his averages have been pretty down the past couple weeks, so it's good to see him kind of bounce back with a game like this. And, yeah, hopefully it keeps it going moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like they're passing more, and they're not using him as much, like running wise. Like, he's not getting 25 carries, 30 carries a game. You know, he, like Alex said, he's getting like 14 carries. You know, he's just being efficient with them. You know, they're just using him in those
and he
situations.
had 3 receptions too, which was good to see. To see them actually just opening up another option in the screen pass, like we saw in the Colts game. Obviously, we can't forget that touchdown, but just having that opening to be able to throw to him like they throw to Saquon Barkley in the Giants game, that's huge, especially in playoffs. It just opens up JJ, Hawkinson, everyone else knowing that the running back can catch some passes.
They're becoming like you know, like the Patriots in their like dynasty era, you know, or it's just pass first, and then run it every once in a while.
So, run when you need to.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. If we can get to the level of what they were in the dynasty era, bring it on. I am happy.
This is the Vikings dynasty now.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a lot of positive. Let's kind of go into some of the stuff that I think maybe we need to work on, and let's start with some of the O-line struggles since we're talking offense. The Vikings did allow 4 sacks. We said, don't look at the stats. Kirk's being confident, you know, but some of those sacks were pretty quick, and they got to him. And even with Darisaw back in the Vikings, they still struggled. They still struggled. I mean, I always said once Darisaw's back in, everything's fixed, but he's still giving up sacks. Is that what you're seeing, or how do you feel about it? Or is the 4 sacks not really an issue to you?
For me, it makes me nervous. I mean, 4 sacks, that's a lot of hits for your quarterback to be taking. I think they lost like 30-some yards on it. Like, that's a huge field position change. And if you're doing that every game, you're just putting yourself in a hole. So, like, obviously it's definitely concerning. You know, like we said earlier, Kirk's been great under pressure this year, but that doesn't mean I want him under pressure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like we were talking to, like he gets hit a lot, you know, whether he's being sacked or not. Sometimes he's just getting hit, you know, after releasing the ball and everything. But yeah, I'd have to look. I don't know how it's tough because some of it's on the offensive line and some of it's from just hanging onto the ball too long and not. But again, if you don't have receivers open, but like, I mean, come on, we have awesome receivers. Like, there's always going to be someone.
Throw it up. So. JJ will find a way to get there.
I know, right?
Just yell. He should just yell 500. If they're ever up like 5 touchdowns, just scream 500 and just go viral. That's what he should do. But he has been sacked the 3rd most times. He's been sacked 44 times this year, guys. That's offensive line has got to lock it down. We know we've had injuries. I think Bradbury's still out again. Yeah. Ever since that car accident. I know it partially doesn't have the biggest impact, but it's his lower back, so he's working on that. I would assume, again, if it was playoffs, he'd be in there. So hopefully we see our full O-line back. give Kirk that extra half a second might make all the difference in playoffs. But the defense, clearly the biggest issue for this team by far. Not even a question. The Vikings are getting absolutely wrecked in every category on defense. Doesn't matter what it is. Is there anything that they should change? They're still winning games, though. So is it really worth trying to change something, or is it a little late to change it at the point that we're at now in the season?
I feel like it's too late to make a big change, but there's always time to make internal changes and adjustments. And I think that's kind of where the Vikes need to go, because at this point, I mean, how much worse can it get? Like,
right.
We're like already letting up the most yards out of any defense in the league. Like, we let up 460 this past week to the Giants, and like it's just week after week we keep saying, are the Vikes going to be over or under 400 yards? And just every week they keep going over. So
yep.
I don't know. Who knows what to do? If I did, maybe I wouldn't be filming a podcast. I'd be coaching NFL defense, but
we'll get you there, Alex. Do enough
maybe one day.
podcasts and you can take Ed Donatello's job.
There you go.
We'll see. Josh, have you seen the celebrations, first of all, that these guys, did you see the U.S. Open, or not the U.S. Open, the World Cup celebration that Patrick Peterson did? That was that was in the Giants game, right?
Yeah.
That was
Sorry,
nice.
I was looking up. I was actually looking at some pretty cool stats here. I was looking up.
You got some defensive stats for us?
No, I was still looking up. I was looking up Kirk Cousins' pocket time, like the average time in seconds between the snap and throwing the ball or pressure. So he is far from the fastest. Like, he's Tom Brady and Kyler Murray and Mac Jones are the fastest with a pocket time of 2.2 seconds. Kirk Cousins is at 2.5. So,
yeah, and I think some of that comes.
Patrick Mahomes is actually 2.6, and Justin Fields is 2.7. Those are the highest.
Is that because the O-line's giving him more time than guys?
Yeah, that's pocket time. That's like actually in the pocket. So yeah,
I see.
I think it also
not
totally
like
plays into what routes your receivers are running, because a guy like Brady, he's throwing a ton of checkdowns. Excuse my French. And he's throwing a lot of checkdowns, and he's not really taking a lot of deep shots. So whereas Kirk, he a lot of targets downfield, takes longer to get down there for guys. So I think that might play into it. But
so we're solving the mystery here on why he gets sacked so much.
Yeah, there's something going on. But again, hopefully we see some more sacks, turnovers, like I was saying. And I just can't get me enough of the celebrations. What's been one of your guys? I said the World Cup. That's definitely probably my favorite. Do you guys have a favorite on the season?
I'm probably gonna have to go with the bowling pin celebration after Harrison Smith picked a game-winning pick against the Washington.
Yeah, I feel like the last one standing, wasn't that Shelley? Just
wobbling around.
It's awesome. It's
I actually literally can't think of one off the top of my head right now. So
well, they've done the bowling one several times, so that's
I've seen the bowling one.
Yeah.
The waddle against Dolphins, that was fun.
Yes, where they literally just pulled out every celebration you could think of. Like they're taking selfies while the other guy's just waddling. It doesn't matter what they do. They're amazing. We got to make a compilation of all the defensive celebrations by the Vikings. They are legit. That will have to happen.
Well, it's like this defense, they make the big plays when they need to, but they're so bend not break that they just give up so many yards. It's crazy.
Well, hopefully we see more defensive celebrations in the upcoming games. They only got 2 games left. We are getting so close to playoffs. Do you guys think, everybody's watching, JJ going to get 2K, and are the Vikings going to be able to win out?
I don't know. I hope he gets 2K. I hope he breaks Calvin Johnson's record at the very least. But yeah, I think, they have a tough game this week against the Packers. It's going to be cold, and the Packers are on a roll right now. They've won the past 3 or whatever. I would say I would keep looking at. I know Christian Watson is questionable, and that would be huge for the Packers because he's like becoming Aaron Jones' favorite Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. So yeah, but I think we're gonna win.
Yeah, the Vikings got 2 away games coming up in Lambeau and Soldier Field. I mean, it's winter football. You're outdoors. It's going to be cold. Maybe we'll see some snow, but there's a lot of NFC teams that don't have dome stadiums that are going to be in the playoffs. So a nice little warm up for that and kind of get us ready and get that mental toughness there.
Yeah.
So we're ready to go. And hopefully Jefferson can break that 2K. That'd be, great for all Vikings fans for sure. But I got a question for you guys. If it's 18 games, does it still count?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Records. If baseball games went up, they still count those records. I count the record in 18. If he can do it in 17, it's possible. It is absolutely possible that JJ could break it this week in week 17. Well, it's 17 games, right? Not 18 games technically, but 18 weeks on the season. So I think eventually they're going to add an 18th game. So is what I've been reading. So it's like if he breaks it in 17, someone else is going to eventually come along and in 18 games and still be not able to beat him in 17 is my thought.
It's a big deal no matter what. I mean, it's a massive number of yards no matter how many, like whatever, 16 games, 17 games, 18 games, 19, whatever it is. I think like there's going to be, like a dividing line when it comes to records, and it's going to be, 16 games and post 16 game seasons, they're not gonna, it's not gonna they're not gonna not give him the record, but I think everyone in the back of their minds is gonna know like, oh, this was after the, this is post 16 game seasons,
Right.
It's kind of like the Astros.
Yeah, I guess. But as soon as it's nothing like the Astros cheating scandal. Are you kidding?
You're calling
me?
you're basically calling JJ cheating.
I almost let that slide. No, this is nothing like the Astros, Alex. That is completely different. This is like Barry Bonds. I mean, they didn't play 162 games every season when Barry Bonds was around, things like that. But once they add that 18th game, I think all the stats are just going to come together. Doesn't matter. You did it. And it blows my mind that he against Detroit had only 14 yards and yet is still on pace to break 2K. That, just imagine if that game he had 150 yards. He would have already, I don't know. That's just crazy to me. That's how good of a season he's had. But we'll talk a lot more about it in our preview for the Packers game coming up. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll be diving into JJ. We'll be diving into Mr. Frogers. That's creative. Yeah, Fraud Rogers.
Sorry. I'm not.
Had to pull it out. But we'll be jumping into all that stuff in our next podcast where we talk about the Packers game coming up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button. You'll be the first to know when we post it. Thanks for tuning in. Drop any questions below if you have any. We'll be sure to try to answer them in the Packers recap game. And if we miss it, or in the preview for the Packers game, but if we miss it there, we'll try to find a way to answer your questions in the next one as well. So follow us anywhere you find Hot Dish Sports. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can get the shirts that Alex and I have. You can give us a little support on the website. Go to Hot Dish
Or
Sports.
you guys could also, send me one.
Oh, Josh, do you need a shirt? Just kidding.
Well, you can
We'll
get
get
one
you a
at
shirt.
hotdishsports.com.
We appreciate it, and Skull Bites.